another episode of Hard Factor presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2020, and we have a hell of a podcast today. We've got Ric Grenell in the last half. He's been America's top spy, so you're definitely going to want to hear that. We got the Beav taking care of his hair right now, but what's the internet situation at the Beaver Dam, Pat?
Bro, the Beaver Dam, the Hard Factor house, Spectrum does not like Hard Factor. Spectrum Internet does not like Hard Factor. I'm currently...
Well, it likes the Reno Hard Factor.
Oh, you're a Spectrum guy. Okay,
Uh-huh.
You're gonna be a Spectrum company man now.
Okay. Pipes are good over here is all I'm saying.
Oof. Spectrum's boning us in Austin right now.
I am getting 0.01 upload speeds, boys. It'll be my third service call. I appreciate the listener who DM'd me and told me what was probably going on. And I know you guys that work for ISPs out there, but fuck these motherfuckers.
Did that listener, was he saying what we were saying, that someone probably in your neighborhood stealing all the internet?
Yes. He said that, or there's a node issue, whatever that means.
The node issue, right.
Yeah, there's a no good son of a bitch.
It also means that you just look like, to us right now, for the last 2 weeks, the Beav to Mark and Will during recording sessions has just looked like a series of still images of the Beav in different positions.
And that's not fair to you guys. That's not fair.
It's not.
I got a look going on over here. The Beav is really coming into his own. And Will, I do want to say our guest that we have is not just the top spy. He was the director of national intelligence.
Yeah. That's why he said he's the top. That's the top spy. Which
I know, but he has
which
a
is really cool
title. Which it's super cool.
They should just call it the world's top spy.
You'll hear all about it when we get there, but the stuff that he knows is enviable. It's we'll get there. But first up, we got three quick ones, big stories. Well, two big stories and a funny one. Pat, get us going.
All right, guys. Thank you, the Beav. This is some crazy shit. On Sunday at 5 p.m., a man dressed as a FedEx delivery person knocked on the door of the North Brunswick, New Jersey home of federal judge Esther Salas, and the judge's son, who's a 20-year-old college student, opened the door, Daniel Andrell. He answered, and the gunman opened fire, killing Daniel, unfortunately, and severely injuring Judge Salas's husband, criminal defense attorney, 63-year-old Mark Andrell, who was standing behind his son when they opened the door. I'm sure you guys heard about this story. It was huge news.
Yeah. You don't hear. There's not a lot of these federal judge assassination attempts since the mid 90s, right?
Not since Woody Harrelson's dad, really. Anyway, the judge was in the basement at the time, was not injured, and at the time of this taping, Mark Andrell's in stable condition. Check this out, guys. The FBI identified 69-year-old attorney Roy Den Hollander as the primary suspect, and on Monday, Roy Den Hollander was found dead by New York State Police in Liberty, New York, with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Now, a lot of news came out on Sunday night and yesterday linking the shooting to Epstein because last week Judge Salas was assigned a class action lawsuit from a group of investors that filed against Deutsche Bank, contending that the firm had failed to flag questionable transactions that were made from the account of financier Jeffrey Epstein, who obviously didn't kill himself. So here's probably not linked to Epstein because this guy that murdered the judge's son was a lawyer. And it seems that we have an incel situation here, guys, because Roy Den Hollander was a self-described anti-feminist lawyer who flooded the courts with seemingly frivolous lawsuits that sought to eliminate women's studies programs and most notably prohibit nightclubs from holding ladies' nights because he thought they were discriminatory against men.
You've got to be kidding me.
So he's like a big pro-Epstein guy.
Oh, I don't know if he's a pro men's rights guy, and he refers to women as feminazis.
So wait a minute, holy shit?
So he's just against this judge
because she's a female judge
against all women.
The theory is because she's such a powerful female federal judge, he didn't like her instead of the.
We'll get to it,
guys.
But
she had been just assigned on his case.
Well, no. So different case. She just got assigned on an Epstein case that has nothing to do with it. This guy has been facing this judge over the years. They've known each other because she's the judge in the area. He was bringing a lawsuit against.
I get it. I get it. I get everything that's going on. I get that this guy's always been anti-women, but it's convenient, the timing with the Epstein case.
It's just convenient. Weird and convenient. I agree. So this guy penned a self-published, of course, 1,700-page book where he describes Salas as, quote, a lazy and incompetent Latina judge appointed by Obama. To add a twist to this angry piece of shit, he told a colleague during a case against male-only military draft. So essentially what he was trying to do is saying he's trying to send women. He hates women and thinks it's unfair that only men can get drafted into the military for service.
That is an extra layer of intensity hate. He wants to send them overseas to die.
Right.
Whoa.
So Salas had that case, but he left that case and he told his colleague that he was leaving because he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So he was dying and he was pissed off at women. So he shot up this fucking judge's house. Also, guys,
and he ended up only shooting the men in her family.
Yeah,
exactly. Big mess up. Total backfire. He told the New York Times in 2008 that his anger towards feminists stemmed from his bitter divorce from a woman that he married in Russia. So he mail order brided it, and it didn't work out. Kind of a perfect storm of an angry incel. Yeah.
He should really be mad at himself for that. That's ridiculous. Have you guys watched 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah.
They know what they're getting into.
Most of those guys succeed too. This guy's like the 20% that can't
even do the mail order. Yeah.
What a piece of shit loser. I'm glad he's dead. Get out of here. And
so was he found? Now I'm assuming that he took his own life.
He took his own life, assumedly. Okay. Now in the car with him, Will, was another female judge's name, and they've let her.
Okay.
know.
See that there we go. Because right now, up until you just said that last sentence, I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking conspiracy theory. I'm like, there's probably. I understand that she's a powerful woman. And he feels emasculated, and but there's probably better places to go if you want to take out women.
The timing is nothing short of preeminent.
Yeah, it still seems too convenient. Maybe, and I don't know. This guy also seems like he could be easily convinced to do something like this, and then be offed by the people that convinced him to do it.
Okay, well, hold on.
He was in a fragile place mentally.
Another interesting development. So he, back in 2-3 years ago, I don't know the specifics on this. Another judge was killed. Or a lawyer was killed by a FedEx, same deal. So this guy shows up in a FedEx outfit like he's delivering your package. Bam. So they're trying to see if he's linked to that. He said, quote,
that was another lawyer, so another person in his community. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's just an angry piece of shit lawyer that hated women and kept flooding the judicial system with just trying to take down ladies' nights.
But he's killing men, though. It's crazy.
Like an idiot. He said fighting for the rights of men is not a very popular thing to do these days in America, and women are the real oppressors.
Well, he's the oppressor. He's literally shooting.
What a tough time it's been for him being a male. Yeah, he must have hated the Me Too last.
After his Russian mail order bride left him, that's when.
I mean that is rock bottom. But you don't have to. Coupled
when
with
you
the
can't
cancer.
seal the deal. You
What
paid
was worse?
thousands of dollars to make it happen. You still can't make
Things
it
are
happen.
getting real bad for old Roy. But honestly,
he's like, now you're not in it just for the citizenship, right? Okay.
Imagine how mad he gets driving by a club with a ladies' night. He's like gripping his steering wheel angrily.
There was no chance for this guy. There was no soulmate for him.
But he
was
took
always
a 20-year-old
going to end
boy's
poorly.
life. He
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. I mean, thoughts and prayers, obviously, for the family. That family is going to be devastated the effects of something like that, a shooting like that, are just hard to fathom, for any family. That's crazy.
It's terrible. My opinion on the incels. I've already called for them to just kill themselves instead of other people.
Save us some time.
Would be a lot more considerate. Okay, let's move over to Seattle. Or sorry, not Seattle. St. Louis. We've been in Seattle a lot this year, but we're going back to St. Louis. Ken and Karen. You remember them? Named Mark and Patricia McCloskey, attorneys at large who waved their guns at protesters marching down the private street in their neighborhood, which happens to be on the way to the mayor's house where the protesters were going to actually do their full protest.
Well, their museum, their giant mansion.
Right.
Yes.
The mansion that looked like a museum that turned out to be their house, where they were barefoot waving guns at people on the front porch. Well, they have been charged by the city of St. Louis with felony unlawful use of a firearm for that situation, that viral video. And don't get me wrong, I was the first to make fun of Karen's water pistol grip and her husband's barefoot look with his AR. But a felony for brandishing weapons on your own property seems pretty hard to pin on two lawyers.
That is a reach.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a
Second
reach.
Amendment. It's their own property.
Didn't it come out? The best part about this is I guess there was a synagogue or a church next door that was raising bees. and this guy went over and stomped all the bee houses because he hated the bees.
No.
They were apparently like neighborhood terrorists.
The same guy?
Yeah, the same guy.
I didn't do much of a deep dive into their backgrounds. I just know that the situation that they're being charged for is unlikely to stick.
Can we get KB to look into their neighborhood chat? Like, what's it called?
Yeah, next door. But yeah, no, I'm 100% positive he's not well liked because he destroyed the church's bees.
Hang on, Will. Did they threaten? Like, did they verbally threaten to shoot anyone?
No. So what they pointed their weapons at people, and they claimed that they were told they would be killed by the protesters.
But how is it a felony unless they were like, I'm about to shoot you?
No, it's not. It doesn't really matter that they've been charged with the felony of brandishing their weapons unlawfully, because the Missouri governor, Mike Parson, already said on radio last week that he would pardon them if they were charged. And Missouri Rep Josh Hawley is asking Bill Barr to intervene. So totally normal and regular reaction. I mean, they're just basically the Republicans are not having this. So
Bill Barr's got bigger fish to fry. Can we just get rid of the felony?
Right. Well, the governor was already going to take care of it, and then they didn't. It's just like theater that it's going up that high to Barr. Taking it to the internet on Twitter, Carl Ratte, who's Canadian, he says, being felons after trial means no longer being able to have guns. Excellent. And ever the optimist, the Canadian Carl. Unfortunately, Carl, you didn't get that part, that they're probably not going to be charged with anything after all the pardons. And then taking it to another Twitter comment from Dave Jacobs, but his handle is @Daniel672245. So he's probably a bot, but he sums up how I feel about it. He says,
"Well, there's lots of Daniels on Twitter. I mean, that's
his name, but he calls himself Dave though. His @ is Daniel. See what I'm saying? That's a bot. And then his picture
Chinese,
is like Jim Halpert
from The Office.
It's just not.
Yeah.
So
there are 600,072. Yeah, there's a lot of Daves and Daniels on Twitter. So I see what you're saying.
I think it might be a bot just telling me what I want to hear, but this is what he says. I don't know what's more cringy, the way they were handling their weapons or the way they are being harassed for defending their property. So
all around handled poorly. Yeah.
Yep. Not only are Parsons, the governor of Missouri, Barr, and ultimately Trump going to side with the McCloskeys in St. Louis, but they are sending Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, agents to Chicago and potentially New York as well, similar to what went on in Portland over the weekend. The violence in the wake of the protests in the several Democratic-controlled cities, it's up 350% right now in New York City. It's being used as a law and order moment for the Trump administration and the HSI agents who are filling in for, in a lot of cases, reduced police forces.
What does that mean? The violence in New York City is up 350%.
Violent crimes, like compared to the same month last year or something like that.
Okay, but New York is able to handle this. I mean, they're one of the most hardcore police forces in the country, I think, right?
NYPD.
Yeah, I mean, I get that Trump is saying, get a handle on it, bring that integer lower or whatever, bring that surge down, or I'm sending in the HSI.
Minivans.
Yeah, I don't know what the HSI, I was reading about it. It's like it's labeled as Homeland Security officers who are basically assisting any other federal officers that need more numbers, and that's the definition of it. It's
great for Hertz and Avis because they're getting their vans rented out. Don't try to rent them in any of these cities.
That's a good point. All right, guys, before I get into my story, which I'm really delaying because the reveal is a doozy, let's talk about gambling on the news, which you can do totally legally in all 50 states via our sponsor, Predict It. All you have to do is go to www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20, create a new account in a quick few minutes, deposit at least $20, and we will give you a free 20, no strings attached. It's that easy. No promo code. Just go to that promo URL I mentioned. If you bet yes, Kanye would officially run for office in 2020, congratulations, you won. That thing was as low as 30 cents the last time I checked it a couple days ago. So you could have tripled up if you bought.
That was a Beeve pick. That was a Beeve. The Beeve hit that one. Not normal for me.
Beeve hit it. It's also confusing when Kanye says, I am running, I'm not running, and then I am running, all within 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and media outlets reported that he wasn't running. Like,
well, because he announced that he wasn't.
Yeah.
And then next thing he's having his official.
Got to keep your eye. Got to be quick at predicted. So all shares are between 1 cent 99 cents, and the market resolves with each share ending at either 0 cents or $1. So the options you have are to buy or sell until it resolves at 0 cents or $1. Get in, get out, make some money, or let it ride. Now there's a new Kanye market out there, guys. Will Kanye officially register on the Ohio presidential ballot? Because I guess he missed the South Carolina one, even though he's running.
And he had a campaign event there.
It's going to take him a couple.
Really need those votes, did he?
To get up to speed.
He's getting up to speed. Exactly. So it's at 70 cents yes right now and is looking good. You can make 30 cents a share if you buy yes there. That's over a 30% increase in your money. You tell me if that's good. I think that's pretty good. Kanye is also only 2 cents a share to win the presidency. So if you put $20 on that, you could win 2,000, right?
You know what? No. You know what Kanye should do? He should focus on winning just Rhode Island if he can still get on the ballot there. Like, he needs to go to the smallest place and just win one state, like Bloomberg style. Bloomberg won Guam.
America Samoa. No, he won America
like $8 billion, and he won American Samoa.
Yeah.
So then
what you do.
That's what Kanye should do, except for the general.
Yeah, because how cool is that to say you won a state? Yeah.
Right. On election day, and you put it on right near the biggest polling place. That's what you do.
Yeah. And you say, if I'm polling poorly, this concert ends.
That's the type. Or you got to show me a photo of you voting for Kanye to get in the concert.
There you go. So go to www.predictit.org/hardfactor20, create an account, deposit at least $20. We'll give you a free 20. And on to my story. You know what I was just thinking the other day, guys? We haven't covered a senior abuse story recently. Not a good one, at least.
Well, the last one was a doozy. It's going to be hard to top that Arizona. I think that's probably the worst one that we did.
The husband that drove
nursing hospital.
Oh, the one where the
guy who was preying on all of the.
That wasn't really a senior abuse. That was just
that was like more of a handy.
Oh, you're right.
Coma. That was comas. This is elder abuse. This is like what happened to Stan Lee, and what happens, like when family members abuse their, elderly and steal money from them or caretakers. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah. So not only do we have one here, but it's a doozy, and it comes from our home state of Virginia, Pittsylvania County, Virginia to be exact, which is right there at the bottom center part of the state. So this particular,
they call that the Jelly Donut Center of Virginia.
Never heard of that
illustrious part of the state.
Is that like by South Boston?
It's Boston. The Pitts. It's near Dansville, Martinsville,
South
Dansville,
Central Virginia. Not the most notable part of the state.
Southeast of Roanoke. So this particular case got brought to the Pittsylvania County Department of Social Services by the hospital. I'm going to try to get through this next part without throwing up. On March 18th of this year, 74-year-old Eileen Myers, who lives with her daughter Shannon Tipton and her adult granddaughter Brianna Tipton, was discharged from the hospital with a Foley catheter in her bladder. Not that gross yet, guys. On April 2nd, 2 weeks later, Eileen was taken to the emergency room where they found maggots in her bladder and the first stage of bed sores.
Oh, you're in there.
So maggots were coming through the catheter and out of the bladder because they didn't change the catheter once.
Oh. You would think at first you had like superpowers if you were doing that.
Sorry if you just ate.
So basically they just took this grandma home and then just never touched her again.
Dropped her in the room, locked the door, and then partied. It turns out Shannon and Brianna admitted to locking Eileen's bedroom door from the outside at night to prevent her from wandering. Their definition of night is probably, they're saying it was 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. that they did admit they went 12 hours a day without checking on her. But I'm thinking it was more like at first pill pop around 1:32 p.m. And then whenever they woke up the next day, they checked to see if Eileen was still breathing, and then they relocked the door. Yeah.
So what are their relation again? What's the relation?
Her daughter and granddaughter.
Oh my goodness.
She's only 74.
Maggots or flies?
Stop. Shannon and Brianna Tipton are facing.
Every time they come out, just one flies away. It'd be kind of cool.
Shannon and Brianna Tipton are facing 2 charges of felony abuse and neglect of incapacitated adult resulting in serious bodily injury or disease, and they're being held without bond in Lynchburg Adult Detention Center and won't have their first court hearing until September, so they're staying in there, and that's a little bit of a better use of felony than the rich lawyer idiots with the guns. But anyways, they clearly don't take elder abuse lightly in Virginia. So
a bit more of a that really lives up to the felony marker, you know.
For sure. That was a tough one. Sorry, I thought that was gonna be funnier.
What are you in for?
When I read the headline,
yeah, making my mom have maggots in her piss. That's how badly I abused her.
Oh, that's what happened. And that's going to do it for the story portion of the show today. But now we have that special treat for you. We were talking about an interview with the very recently former director of national intelligence and the first openly gay cabinet member in the history of the United States, Ric Grenell. And I think you're going to enjoy it.
All right. Welcome to the show. Longtime U.S. diplomat in the Republican Party, currently working on peace negotiations with Serbia and Kosovo, Ric Grenell. Ric, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate having you. First question, though, are you in Kosovo quarantined or are you in the U.S.? Because you might have a preference there. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm in the U.S. Most of the stuff, like everybody else, is being done by Zoom or phone calls. Modern day diplomacy. You can talk to people without being in front of them.
Well, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. You've served a lot of different posts in your time working as a diplomat. Germany, other parts of Europe. What's been your favorite place? And can you give us a little background about what you've done in your career?
You know, my favorite job in the whole world that I've ever had is I was the spokesman for the mayor of San Diego.
Oh,
and
sick.
you know, it's such a cool job because you don't have to explain to anyone ever what a mayor does. Everybody knows exactly what the mayor does. And it's the intersection of concerts and restaurants and zoning.
Bros. Like
Yeah.
what possibly could you have to say that would be hard being the spokesperson for the mayor of San Diego? You know, it's like, hey,
we had to redevelop the downtown area and pick either the Chargers or the Padres to move downtown at the time. This was in the late 90s.
No sleep.
That was
sleep on that
difficult.
decision. Shit,
Yeah.
Ric.
You think San Diego's still reeling from the Chargers, though?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
What kind of a city wants to lose a sports team? You know,
Yeah, it sucks.
But
Do you still
the
pull for
Chargers.
do you still root for the Chargers, or are you a Chargers fan? I mean,
I'm actually a
Southern
Padres
California.
fan because they moved downtown and they took the deal.
Right, I knew
There you go.
I knew the Padres were the ones that got the move there.
Boom.
Did you
Roasted
ever meet
Chargers.
Tony
Hey,
Gwynn?
here's a little news, guys. Though in the late 90s, the mayor at the time first offered the Chargers to move downtown in that stadium and to build a stadium, and they said, no, we don't want to be downtown. We want to be in Mission Valley. They chose not to do it, and then we started negotiating with the Padres. The Padres ended up going to the World Series that year against the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
And of course, everybody was so excited about the Padres, they voted for the bond measure and built the stadium.
Wow. Yeah. And as
we
we know,
The
Phillip
Chargers
Rivers
ended
has
up
never
paying for
won.
it.
Yeah, Phillips Rivers never won a championship, did he?
No, and they ended up in a pretty bad stadium in the end. Well, I mean, I guess they're about to have one, maybe, but weren't they
We'll
playing
see.
like a
They
high
play
school
it like-
stadium?
No, they play at like LA's Community College Stadium right now. The
Something
Chargers
along
do.
those lines, right?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. It's
Padres
Santa
got the better
Monica
end of that
City
deal.
College is where they play.
Historically, LA's been real good to the NFL in terms of attendance, so it should work out fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ric, so you were the acting director of national intelligence, is that correct?
Yeah, top spy.
Man, that's
Wow.
crazy, man. Were
Yeah.
you stoked? Were your folks proud of you? I mean, like when you come home with it, you're swinging that job title around. They're like, man, we did good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My mom was a little bit nervous about everything, but
Well, why should she, Ric? Is there a deep state?
good question. I will tell you this. In my experience in working at the State Department for 11 years and working at DNI and meeting all sorts of career officials, the career officials are really annoyed with the leakers and really annoyed with the people who are not committed to doing their job. By far, the majority of people want to do their job, but there is this little element of people who clearly can't handle having a person in the White House that they don't agree with. And so, they leak against them and they try to do everything they can to stop that policy. I find it to be the Washington way, and it's really ridiculous.
But that's what the mooch came in to clean up. And the mooch, I mean,
He didn't
Anthony
stay long
Scaramucci, friend
enough.
of the show, he was going to do some serious swamp draining with those leakers.
He drained the swamp from inside the swamp.
And then 9 days later, what happened? Did the leakers is it impossible to get the leakers out of there? Because we grew up in DC, we have friends and family members that work for the intelligence community. It's very anti-intelligence community to be loose-lipped. Is that correct?
Yeah. What's the saying from back home in DC? Isn't it? You can take the people out of the swamp, but you can't take the swamp out of the swamp. Isn't that it?
Hey, look, I think you're onto something here. Is that that's my point about the career people who I've had actually career intelligence officials say to me, this is our entire existence of who we are, which is to keep secrets. And yet we can't keep secrets, and we keep leaking because we don't like something, or we leak raw intelligence, which is worse. Look, we also have politicians who decide to fan the flames and play the game.
Right.
And
I was going to say, is that just because of how politicized everything's gotten during this last few years, and now everybody's losing it and just, doing shit that they normally wouldn't do?
Well, I think, yes, I do think that, but I think that's across the board Washington. I mean, you look at not to get too partisan here, but Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they've been there for more than 40 years each. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to have somebody who's been in the job for 40 years say, I'm going to clean it up, or here's the problem. I mean, if they know the problem, shouldn't they have solved the problem already?
Good pensions, probably, though.
You're saying because that's their rhetoric. Their rhetoric is we're going to clean it up. Whereas, like, the Mitch McConnells are just saying, I'm just holding on.
I think there's people on all sides for sure. Yeah.
Correct. No, I don't. I think you're hitting on something very true, which is that we no longer have a problem in Washington that is Republican versus Democrat. It's Washington versus the rest of the country.
Good one.
And I have to tell you, I think that Bernie Sanders is touching on this. I think Elizabeth Warren touches on this. Certainly Donald Trump touches on this. But the people who aren't of Washington, even though Bernie Sanders has been there forever, he's done a good job of saying, look, this place is a mess. This place protects itself. They've got lobbyists. They get paid. All the people who like the rules of Washington, who are getting paid, who like the backroom deals and all of that, they don't want the place to change because they're really benefiting. Every time we have an economy that goes down, what happens in Washington? Washington goes up. People buy, bigger homes, and they're every time you go to Washington, there's a new construction project going on.
Rick, not to mention the best happy hours in town and the best call girls in town.
100.
Yeah, and government people can tend to be a little too proud of how it's recession proof. I think.
Yeah, totally.
Top Spy is really, really cool. How the hell do you get that job? Do you have to kill someone with a paper clip? I don't understand.
Is there a test?
Yeah, what's the test to get that?
I'll tell you how you get the job in a Donald Trump administration. You don't ask for it. He is the type that, desperation is the worst smelling cologne. When you really want something and you're pushing hard with him, he's thinking you got an ulterior motive. He likes to kind of think, hey, this guy would be good in this position and surprise you. And I actually like it. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he pushes when you brief him, because he doesn't let you just go down this road of briefing him normally. It's always like a meandering question and pushing, and you got to know your stuff.
From the interviews, you'd assume it would go that way.
That's interesting. That's what John McAfee touched on when we interviewed him, and that's also how we've talked about recently how George Washington was not. He was he didn't campaign for the job, right? And McAfee was like, maybe you should get people that don't.
Elections are better than elections.
Exactly.
His point. Taking it away from stuff going on at home, you were the acting director of national intelligence. Are aliens real? Can you tell us now?
Yeah.
Hey, you want to know something? That my biggest regret is because of COVID. I couldn't go to the secret places and check out all that.
Oh man!
Wait, so yeah, what we know about the computer? Well, first, are aliens real? Do you know?
I do know. I think this is all about the definition of alien, right? When I talk about a foreign alien, you're going to think of something from a movie.
Yes.
And if you remember that the government just classifies UFOs as they're unidentified.
Right. It's just
flying,
the sky.
And it's some sort of an object. And so the problem always is that we're talking over each other. The government talks about UFOs and aliens as very real and questionable things. And yet the public immediately takes this and says, it's a little Martian with a little, and that's not what we're saying.
So I do think that UFOs, probably they exist, right, in some form or fashion, an unidentified flying object or whatever they're called now. But what about beings from a different planet that are smarter than us that could destroy us? Do they exist?
So now you're getting into classified information. I get to plead, sources and
okay.
methods.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, hey, we know about the computer, right? The computer that you can it's like a Google with info about people. We know about it. What was the first thing you put in that computer?
NSA? Just that's
What'd you put in the computer?
The whole reason I'm on this show is because I've already checked you guys out. I already know.
Nice.
Well, we're trying
to push back on me and create some sort of narrative. I can immediately type your background information.
Yeah, but we're open books. The Beef.
Yeah, we are open
books.
books.
An open book. And so
we're just fat and stupid. We have nothing to hide.
But we're trying to get the word Yandex to replace Google, as in hey, can you Yandex that? Because the Russian search engine Yandex. Have you come across this at all?
No.
Okay. Well, what was the first thing you Yandexed in the computer, though? What did you search?
I literally can't tell you, but I will tell you that.
Rick!
I will tell you that the Beef was on that list, and I was able to get some information, so I wouldn't push it too far. Okay.
Okay. Well, this one should be a little bit easier. How worried should we be about Tick-Tock?
Mm-hmm.
Look, here's the thing that I think about Tick-Tock. It's a big problem, but it is in many ways it's almost too late. If you have it on your phone, it probably is prudent to get rid of it, because it is any company that works in China has to play by the Chinese rules, and there are no rules. They decide. There's no rule of law. There's no pushback. And so it gets turned over to the Communist Party of China. Don't forget that. It's still, we have COVID. This is what, people go crazy when people are this blunt. But we have COVID because the Chinese Communist Party is so secret that they were not able to identify and shut this down. And they continued flights out of Wuhan into the rest of the world, except for throughout China. And so this is the reality. People don't like to face the reality, but communist China's secrecy is a huge problem for America.
We just recently covered what's happening in Xinjiang with the Uyghur population. Do you have any thoughts on that? We were sort of shocked to read some of the reports about what's happening there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, some of the hardest meetings I've had in Europe is with the head of the Uyghurs in Europe, who came in to see me, and we had multiple meetings where they would explain what's going on and really show pictures. And a lot of this is, of course, we know, the Five Eyes know. And the reality is that the world kind of tends to look the other way. It's one of the reasons why when I was in Germany and Chancellor Merkel went over and took, 10 German CEOs to China on this big trade deal, at the same time that President Trump was trying to squeeze the Chinese into following the rules and getting back to paying attention to human rights. And the problem that we had is that the Europeans want trade deals. And so, Chancellor Merkel went over and in her opening speech didn't say anything about the human rights abuses in Hong Kong or Uyghurs or anything.
Wow.
And she had to have a question be pushed on this. And this is where I think Europe has got to catch up. They talk a big game about human rights, but many times they don't put their money where their mouth is.
I see that Howley is filing a bill for America, so maybe they can do something similar in Europe.
Yeah, it seems. I agree with you on that. What is Merkel like? Is she nice, or is she like firing people on the spot? I can't get a good read on her.
Yeah, I like her a lot, actually. She's quite funny. Nice. She's super serious. She's got a great handle on what's happening. Very knowledgeable, personable, approachable. I can't say enough nice
Is her skin cold to the touch, or is it what?
Oh no, we're saying she's nice now.
She's a boss. There's no doubt about that.
There's a boss.
But she's intimidating as fuck.
Yeah, one of the problems I think that we have is that she sees the world very much like a Westerner. She's pro-West. She sees the problems, but then it kind of falls apart when her staff get it, and I can't quite figure out if her staff is stopping it or if that's the whole play from the beginning. I'll give you one example, and we'll make a little news here. Chancellor Merkel has told me multiple times that there's no reason why they couldn't look at visa liberalization for Kosovo. And they would start by doing specific industries, make it business, not just open it up completely, but start with targeted visas for certain sectors. And every time I would bring it up, she'd say, yeah, there's no reason we can't do that. And then she'd look at a staff member, and when I would follow up with a staff member, wouldn't go anywhere.
He did the finger across the throat. It was Hans. He was like, no.
Yeah. Well, lazy staff, not good. Hey, well, Mark, do you want to finish your Merkel?
Well, it's sort of along those lines. We covered Germany. I was just wondering, with your experiences, if you were like at the UN, which is the coolest country to hang out with at lunch, and which is the country you don't want to eat lunch with?
Yeah, who's the smelly kid?
Yeah.
So I like to always answer questions the best I can. So I have to say that the best place to have lunch is always, and maybe it's just because I really like sushi, the Japanese ambassador's residence is always like,
oh, nice.
I mean,
sake too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds very nice. Yeah.
And the worst place to have lunch is probably the American ambassador's residence, because we have so many rules on what you can do and who you can buy
Is it just McDonald's now? They Trump like push that down to all the.
Yeah. It's bad. We don't have the ability to play nice anymore.
Hey, Rick,
you don't have the koi pond. I get it.
What's your take on this whole Q situation? Because I want to know what the inside baseball is over there, and we're not Q guys.
Do you know who it is?
But who is Q? What
are you Q? Well, you're the top spy. You're either Q or you know who Q is.
I have no idea.
But what's your take on the whole Q potentially being Trump or government insiders and?
To me, this is a total honest answer. I really don't pay any attention to it. It's not in my world. I have so many.
If you ever want to go down,
reality is so different than the conspiracy theories. So
Rick, there's a fly on your screen. It looks like it's going this way, and then it's going like that, and it's going. If you can just make this motion with your hand, and then that motion will be.
Come on, Rick. Just
that would be. That would be exactly what people would say.
Okay. Free Bieber.
All right.
Rick, you were the first. You're the first openly gay cabinet member in U.S. history. Was that a cool moment when you got that bestowed? Like, was that?
My attitude was like, how sad is this? It's 2020.
Right. Yeah. It seems like it's
good point.
Long way.
And the second part of this whole thing is remember, there's a key word in this whole thing: openly.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Right.
Oh hell
good
yeah!
Point, Rick.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We've had so many like closeted gay cabinet officials. That would be a good game to do.
Well, we got some ideas. There's some rumblings. We wouldn't out anyone.
Well, who was the toe tapper guy? He wasn't a cabinet member, but he
wasn't.
We were in the.
He was just my toe accidentally signaled a hand job from under the other stall. What are the odds that I'm in this gay men's bathroom? Damn it! What was his name? I loved that guy.
He wasn't a cabinet official though.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It would be a fun game to play, and I think that you could probably go even higher than cabinet member, probably if you're going historically. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe. I do have to say though, it's pretty cool to. It wasn't that long ago when gays and lesbians couldn't be in the intel community because they weren't trusted. Matter of fact, in 1973, there's a video of Joe Biden saying that he doesn't trust gays and lesbians to be, okay with security clearances. That he didn't trust them.
Ouch.
And the reality is that in 1973, Joe Biden was a U.S. senator, so it's not like he was a private citizen. It was when he was in the Senate that he was questioning whether or not we could keep secrets. as gays and lesbians. And so to all of a sudden have Donald Trump appoint the first openly gay head of Intel, that's pretty cool. And I have to say that the career officials within the intelligence community were extremely proud of that too. But I stand on the shoulders, not to be too corny, but I stand on the shoulders of so many people who worked hard and climbed and got knocked down and helped me along the way. So I'm so certainly appreciative, and I'm going to turn back around and make sure we help others.
Good on you, Rick.
Love that.
Khabib didn't get approved for security clearance, and I was curious if you had any idea
What?
why. No, I know. And I was honest about everything.
You should push back on that, because I think there's a lot of manipulation on these security clearances of people who, on the other side, the system denying certain people over silly stuff.
Right.
Like a 10-year heroin addiction, but you promise it's over.
I was honest.
But here's the thing: there's a huge inconsistency on this front for individuals who smoke marijuana and who admit it, and then those who smoke marijuana, they say they didn't, and then they get caught later. We're totally inconsistent on how we enforce this and who gets a security clearance. A whole bunch of people have been denied. I have a friend who was denied because, an ex-boyfriend came up and said some crazy stuff. And it wasn't true, but the investigator was like, oh, well, sounds like this person isn't trustworthy.
What sucks the worst is that crazy ex-boyfriend's plan worked to a T, and the investigator let it work to a T, which is something that we're very anti on this show, is crazy exes saying stuff about you that aren't true. We reward it on the other side. If a crazy ex comes up to us and says, hey, this person you think about hiring is fucked up, we hire that person automatically.
Yeah, it should be good on you for getting out of that relationship. Smart move. Here's your clearance.
Yeah, exactly. You're in.
I'm actually with you.
So what is the top level of clearance? There's several levels of top secret, right? There's secret, top secret. What's the highest level of clearance? Are you allowed to say?
We call it compartmentalized. So it's different compartmentalized access. So certain people, the certain number of people get certain compartments.
Okay.
Yeah. So not everybody gets the alien compartment, unfortunately, for that.
Correct. Right. Very true.
I thought it was levels of black belt, 3rd degree, 4th degree, but I guess it's compartmentalized. That makes sense.
But it's the same concept.
Yeah.
But when you were the director, you had all compartments?
All.
Amazing. Oh shit!
Oh fuck!
Listen, on my first day, I literally had to sign a stack of memos, basically granting myself all these access to all these different compartments. Yeah.
Is that like the first time that you come across a high-speed porn internet website? It's just are we just like a kid in a candy store?
I have to say that it's pretty humbling for a kid from Western Michigan to all of a sudden be in charge of so much. And I felt like the national anthem was playing the whole time I was signing.
That's amazing. I hope you just played it on your phone. Wow.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't have my phone in the room.
Oh, really? It's that top secret.
Wow. How good are you with passwords? I usually use the same 3 to 5 passwords, and I got to get better at that. But you must be pretty good at passwords.
Yeah,
you don't use an exclamation point.
That is such an amazing question, because every single person in the federal government that has to deal with classified information struggles with this. We've got whole teams of people that do nothing but come back to you to say, okay, let's walk you through what your password was and what you said and try to help you get back on, because everybody forgets.
But then they're just my dog's name and my daughter's birthday is this. So
it had to be one of those two. Yeah.
Hey, Rick, why
you
did you
have to change it every 30 days?
Yeah,
imagine that.
Fuck that! I haven't changed mine in 6. Well, every 6 days.
But I know, but that's the problem. Well, it's so you have password managers, but a lot of people will just save it to their local drive as a document called passwords or something. Yeah.
It's a violation to write it down.
So Rick, exactly. Rick, why did you resign exactly? Tell the people why you resigned.
From DNI?
Yeah.
So I took the job only as temporary. I did not want the job permanently. And so I was acting. And the way that I became acting was because I was a Senate confirmed for the U.S. ambassador to Germany. So you had to have a Senate confirmed person in the job to be acting.
Okay.
So I took the acting job, and I told the president, I'll do this as long as we nominate somebody permanently and we get somebody through right away, and that this is a priority, because I didn't want the job permanently. And we did. We settled on John Radcliffe right away. I took the job knowing that it would be him, and he got confirmed. So
that's good.
He got delayed a little bit because of COVID. So I thought I would do 3 months, and I ended up doing like more than 4 months.
Do you still get access to the compartments now that you've given up the role? Or...
I still have my top secret security clearance.
Oh, yes. Hell yeah, bro. So on your way,
and remember, listeners, it's not top secret. It's top secret something.
I
don't have access to all the compartmentals, though.
You'll let us know if something's coming for us.
That's specifically it, Rick. Can you do a search on us?
I've already told you, Beav. I told you I did a little bit of background work on you.
And I don't want you to dig too deep there. It's really on the Mark and the Will side that I want you to check out. The Beav there'll be a time when you get in there and you're not
you
gonna
know
like what you find.
This is a good point. You could provide information, even though we've all been friends for like 25 years. You could provide information that we could roast each other with that are like
Wes is on the show with us today, but his browser history, we've been trying to get that for a long time.
If you could send us individual information on each other, that's embarrassing.
Check your emails.
So Rick, on your way out, you criticized Mark Warner a little bit about not declassifying certain documents. What was that about? What documents did you want declassified?
Well, what I criticized Senator Warner about was his grandstanding, saying that I didn't coordinate with him to reform the intelligence community. At the same time, he's grandstanding and saying, "Oh, this Grenell, he won't coordinate with me. He's doing things on his own." Literally, I had a phone call with him to coordinate, and he canceled the phone call. And then when I asked to reschedule the call so that I could coordinate the reform with him, he refused to find another time to get on a call. So he literally ditched me, and then took to the microphones to lambaste me for not coordinating with him. Now, look, this is the Washington way.
Well, technically, he's right. I mean, even though he ignored you completely, you didn't coordinate with him.
Oh, and Mark Warner is the most Washington. We grew up in the D.C.
What a
area.
Move.
He was our senator.
Yeah, he was.
This is so typical of Washington, though. They say one thing and they do another. I mean, you got Adam Schiff, who's out front, lambasting. Oh, I've seen Russian collusion. I can't tell you. This is really bad. And then meanwhile, you look at all the transcripts, and every single person, Samantha Power, Susan Rice, all of these people are like, nope, didn't see anything, don't know anything, there's nothing there. And yet they go out in public and they say something different. Look, in where I come from in Southern California or Western Michigan, where I grew up, this is called a lie. And in Washington, it's called, boosting your career.
Politics. Games.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Playing the game. Yeah.
It's
we like to make fun. We like to make fun of politicians' looks on this show. It's not real highbrow humor. But Adam Schiff
it's well
looks
thought
like
out.
It's well thought. Adam Schiff, we think, looks like the guy from the waiting room in Beetlejuice when he gets his head shrunk.
Yeah, remember?
You're going to get me in trouble.
Just throwing that out there.
You didn't laugh. That was
that was good. Yeah,
if you agree.
Not laugh at that. On the record.
All good.
It's all good. Oh shit!
I think you guys got any other questions?
I think that's it.
Appreciate your time, Rick. That was fun.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for what you guys do.
We really appreciate you coming on.
You.
Thanks, brother. And thanks, Rick, for joining the show. That's going to do it for Hard Factor. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned for a big week. Check out Barstool Radio Power 85 from 11 a.m. to 12 Eastern. We got listener debates today, and then tomorrow we'll have PFT and Large in the Barstool Talent Debates. It's a can't miss. Have a great fucking day.